What is going on, guys? It is Thursday morning and another absolutely challenging week. I am pretty fucking tired because everyone has got a cough apart from me. Louis was coughing pretty much all night last night. Lara was having periods of coughing, which meant that I got absolutely sod all sleep. Honestly, I reckon lucky if I got 4 hours of broken sleep, maybe. And it feels like it's been that way to be honest, for about the past month. Just absolutely exhausted. But there's nothing I can really do about it right now because it just is what it is, and it's frustrating. It's annoying, but people are sick. Just I don't know. It just feels pretty relenting right now. I think I mentioned in last week's video, like Louis just seems to be bouncing from illness to illness at the moment, which, I mean, everyone keeps telling us it's very normal. It's just kids. It's, their immune systems aren't quite where they need to be. And so they pick up these things and it strengthens them. And that's true. I know that's true. It doesn't help in the moment when you're absolutely wiped. Louis, bless him, is also going for a little bit of a testing period. Very much testing boundaries at the minute, like whacking the Christmas tree. And then because he's getting a little reaction of us telling him no, like he thinks that's a game, so he continues to do it. Very difficult to manage that at the moment, especially when you're already tired. Your patience is wearing a little bit thin. Trying to remember that he's only like 16, 17 months old and he doesn't really know what he's doing, and he's just treating it as a little bit of a game because he's doing what he's doing and he's getting that reaction he wants. It's definitely hard work at the moment, but it's probably going to last for a while. So it's not like it's going to be an overnight thing. Hopefully he's going to start to feel better soon because it's not been very nice for him for the past month, and obviously that's not been very nice for us either. Like seeing him unwell, although he gets on with stuff, he doesn't really let it impact or affect him too much. It obviously can't be very nice for him. Like he's going to want to get back to feeling 100%, back to feeling at full health, back to feeling like he's got lots of energy. And that should hopefully then mean everyone starts to sleep. Like, fingers crossed, Lara's going to get rid of her cough soon as well, because if she can get rid of that, it means that everyone might get a half decent night's sleep. Because I think that's what all of us need right now. I know exactly what will happen. Louis will get better, Lara will get better, and then I'll get sick because I've been the one who's trying to do as much as possible at the moment to ease everyone else's burdens. But that's life. So the favour might end up having to be returned. I hope I don't get sick. I really hope I don't get sick because I absolutely hate it. But it also wouldn't be all that surprising given the circumstances and the situation. But we shall see. Anyway, I've just been back to the other gym. Haven't been to that gym for, I think this is the first session in 3 weeks maybe that I've been to that particular gym, just because the way life at home has been, it just hasn't really been particularly conducive to me getting up there. It's a little bit further to drive to, so I try to do it on days, mornings where I've got a little bit more time. It's not quite as easy to get there at like 5 o'clock in the morning, so I try to do it on the days where I'm not having to go at 5 o'clock in the morning. Sorry, just trying to navigate these ridiculous roads. I had a good session, push session today. So I like to do my push session in that gym. It's just got a couple of bits of equipment that the other one doesn't have, particularly an incline chest press and a nice shoulder press, which my other gym don't have. So, push session I always try and get done in that gym where I can. No particular PBs today, like largely maintaining things. Again, not all that surprising given where my body's at and where my energy levels are at, feeling pretty tired. The one thing I will say, like, despite the fact that I am really feeling tired and struggling to get a huge amount of sleep, the gym is still providing me with quite a big stress reliever. I think I get myself a little bit sort of stressed and worked up when I'm I am tired, like I'm trying to get loads of stuff done, I'm trying to work. We've obviously had weeks and periods and days where Louis's been off the childminders and we've been trying to tag team, and you're then worried about him. The gym has been a massive, to be honest, it's been a real mental relief for me recently. You know, I've lent into that in, you know, different periods of my life, and when life does get particularly stressful, it's definitely a place that I find hugely helpful. I mean, I love being in there anyway. Like, I just absolutely love the environment. I love challenging myself. I love the whole feeling of going to the gym. But I do think, especially in these moments where everything feels like it's just getting pretty ridiculous, being able to go in there for the mental relief is just, yeah, just massive. So, you know, if you are ever feeling a little bit like that, and it almost, and it's tough sometimes, because you're probably in the situation where you're sort of battling with yourself, like, oh, you know, I'm busy, there's lots going on, I'm tired, should I go to the gym? You know, from a physical point of view, you might be doubting yourself, and you might be thinking, is it going to actually make me feel worse? Is it going to make me feel more tired? I would probably say, if anything, it will do the opposite. Like, mentally, it's going to just completely relieve a lot of the stress that's going on. And in my opinion, that is going to lead to a huge amount of physical energy levels being better as well. So, you know, I think it's important to, you know, to lean into it at certain times. So I will leave this first part of this video here. I'm just on my way home to get myself sorted, showered, because we've got another bloody boiler technician coming out. That's another thing that's going wrong at the moment. The heating doesn't work properly. This technician is now going to have been here 3 times in 6 days, because he now thinks that he's done something wrong, which is just what you want, because it just means the day gets disrupted more and more with all of these people coming in and out. Just, you know, a time where I just want to knuckle down and try and get on with stuff. But it is what it is. Couple of calls today, potential guest appearance on another podcast, so keep your eyes peeled for that one, which is very much more about like men's mental health, which, you know, something that I'm a big sort of advocate of, and I think that's a great, you know, great outlet for people. And you know, I like what the host of the podcast is doing. So, you know, as and when that does happen, obviously I'll share the details. But yeah, I'm just gonna stick a few tunes on, get to the gym. I've been to the gym. Get home, get showered, get sorted. And then hopefully I'll have a little bit of a productive day until this boiler guy turns up and decides to ruin everything. What is good, guys? Hopefully the sound quality is going to be all right here, because these are different headphones, because it feels like everything that can go wrong at the moment is going wrong, including all my headphones breaking. My better headphones, one of them stopped working. One of them's all right, but one of them decided it's going to die, it won't charge. So that's another thing on the list of things to resolve. This morning, one of those nightmare mornings as well. Louis still not fully recovered. He's woken up with a swollen eye, so we had to get an emergency appointment at the doctor's for him. They think it's a little bit of a leftover rollover thing from the skin condition he had, skin irritation thingy, a couple of weeks ago. So he's got another course of treatment, another week's worth of treatment for him. Thankfully he can go to the childminders for now, but if that gets much worse, that's going to be another situation we're going to need to deal with. It just feels like everything at the moment is really tough. I've decided I'm going to take a few days off the gym. I've got aches and pains and stuff pretty much all over my body at the moment. Just lack of sleep, general stress and build up of life, just throwing every single challenge right now. I'm just going to use it. I was going to try and use it as an opportunity just to really catch up on everything. But then all this stuff happens, you know, I think, right, I've got a solid morning, get check-ins all sorted, get everything done, jump on a couple of calls, and then we have to go and take Louis to the doctors. It's just the way life seems to be at the moment. And I know in the grand scheme of things, it's not a big deal, but bloody hell, it feels tough. My own stuff, progress-wise, is pretty maintaining. I think I'm about ½ a pound up from where I was last week on average, which, you know, to be expected. I had some decent training sessions this week. the ones that I did manage to get in, and I did train 4 times this week. They all just ended up being 4. I actually trained 5 back-to-back days. I trained Monday through Friday last week. Had some good sessions. Food was all on point. So yeah, saw half a pound go on the scales, but it probably means I'm going to end up having about 5 or 6 days off the gym again, just because life is doing that to me at the moment. It feels a bit like 4 or 5 on, 4 or 5 off at the moment. Yeah, I think I've mentioned on a couple of these that sleep has been difficult as well. So I'm also thinking, right, well, if I'm not going to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, I can get a little bit of additional sleep, and hopefully that's just going to aid with the recovery. But yeah, needless to say, busy, and life is doing everything it can to make everything harder. But there we go. I'll be back again with the next part tomorrow. I might have a little bit of a different update at some point. Back with the next part tomorrow. Once Christian's got back to me, physique shots will come in there as well, and we'll see where we're at. Here we go, the final part of this week's YouTube, and check-in reply sent across this morning, check-in received back from Christian, and an interesting one. It just, I think what I've in my past couple of weeks check-ins, I've brain dumped a little bit more, and you know, Christian's very good at like listening to that, reading that, taking that stuff on board, and you know, giving some really practical advice. And it's you know, the way that I like to do things with my own clients, you know, like that check-in process for many people, like it can actually be one of the few opportunities people get to just express themselves. You know, I'm not sure how many people have stuff around them, people around them, opportunities to really just get some stuff off their chest. And you know, I think when you build up a lot of trust within the coach-client relationship, you know, you feel very comfortable sharing that kind of information. And you know, I'm fortunate in that regard that like Christian and I have that relationship, and it's like I say, it's a relationship I have with all of my own clients as well. You know, my clients are very open with me, and the more open and honest you are with your coach, the better your results are going to be. Because if we don't know what's going on, it makes it very difficult to know, you know, what to do and how to help. And a lot of the things that I've been going through recently have been more, probably a bit more sort of mental health related. Like, yes, I touched on some physical stuff, like I mentioned in yesterday's sort of video. I am tired, I am physically exhausted, I've got various little niggles and stuff that are frustrating me physically. But I think there's also a lot of mental fatigue, and you know, the time of the year doesn't help. I think with again, like those of you that sort of know me a little bit more will know that this time of year isn't my favorite time of year from a weather point of view. It's dark, it's cold, it's wet, it's miserable. It's excuse me, it's just generally not a lot of fun to be out and about in. You know, short days, not getting a huge amount of sunlight, all of those things that happen. So generally speaking, I don't like it. Add into that mix the fact that the past 4, 5, 6 weeks have just been Louis bouncing from illness to illness. Lara's also had a cough for about the past 2 or 3 weeks. Sleep has been a real battle to come by. And just all of that has just really taken a toll on me mentally, as well as physically. And I think I'm, you know, I'm guilty myself of not asking for help enough. Because that, again, maybe it's the nature of what I do, and I very much like to be the problem solver, the person that come to for help, person that people come to for help. You know, I probably get a little bit into my own head thinking that I can solve my own problems too, or feel a sense of duty to solve my own problems. Like in some way I'm failing myself if I ask someone else for help and I don't do it myself. But all of that is a little bit ridiculous. You know, we all need help from time to time. And I think I'm at that point where I have realized there's certain stuff that is impacting me that I've tried to deal with myself, and I haven't really been able to do that. So I am in the process of having conversations with someone to talk to on a more professional basis about things that have happened, like the way that my mindset is, the mentality I have, and certain things that I very much hope will help to move me forward in all aspects, in like in who I am as a person. Like, it's going to improve who I am as a coach. It's going to improve who I am as a husband, a father, like all of these things. And I really, I know now is the time I need to do that, and I can't keep going around in the cycle of, being okay for a bit, having a little bit of a wobble, being okay for a bit, having a bit of a wobble. Because each time those wobbles happen, I'm not really doing anything about it. I'm almost just hoping in some ways that it, like, the good comes again. And it does, but it doesn't take away from the fact that a lot of the wobbles happen like for recurring reasons. And I think now is the time that I need to just dig into those a little bit more to make sure that I am overcoming them, essentially, digging into root cause, and putting some plans in motion, taking some action, being accountable to myself, but being accountable to someone else, and actually move myself forward. So watch this space. I will share more as I can and as I feel like I want to on that sort of journey. Again, as I mentioned, when it comes to like my physicality, it's physique wise is holding up really, really well. About half a pound on the scales from last week, but given where everything's at, that's not a problem at all. Physique is still in a pretty decent spot, like not looking crazy, crazy fat, also not looking crazy lean, but in a good spot. And I think what I need to do is just let these niggles and stuff rest a little bit. Hopefully they're going to be all good by Thursday. It's Tuesday when I'm recording this. Hopefully they're going to be all good by Thursday. I'll be able to get back into the gym, restart that process, and just get back to feeling a bit more myself again. But yeah, I will. I'll leave this one here for the time being. Hopefully, next week when I do one of these, I'll be in a little bit of a better place. It's a funny thing, like putting yourself in front of camera in these situations as well, because like I'm not doing this because I want sympathy. I'm not doing this because I feel like it's me talking about stuff that's maybe a little bit negative or that I'm not feeling great, is in any way being done for likes or clicks or views. Like, I like to be very open and honest in what I do and what I share, and where things are at. And if someone, can relate to that, fantastic. If anyone ever wants to talk about that, amazing. But, it's just me in some ways using this as a little bit of a diary, which I guess is what vlogging is, right? It's diarizing life. So I hope there's made some sense. Apologies if it does feel like it's been a little bit of a sort of downer. That isn't ever my intention, but I also want to be a realist, and I want to make sure that people are aware that life isn't all sunshine and roses. As much as we might want it to be, hope it is, think it can be, we're all going to have those moments. And I'm going through one of those myself. So I'll be back next week. Thank you very much for tuning in. Obviously, if you're liking this content, please do hit that like button, subscribe, share it with people. The more of this that people are aware of and can see, hopefully it's something that's going to be done for the right reasons. But I will see you again very soon.